Well, it's always different.
Do you prefer Kathleen? I always call you Kathy.
Well, you can call me in either. I kind of went back to Kathleen because my daughter-in-law is Kathy Cap also.
So that makes sense.
They get mixed up for the fact that my son is rich also. So there's like two sets in Faribault, but Kathy or Kathleen. Kathleen's a little more business-like, but Kathy Cap, to me, it's a good sound.
Okay.
Little short names. So
Yeah.
you can call me anything.
Just don't call you late for dinner, right?
Right. Oh, you could do that too. Trying to lose a little weight.
You did bring a pie here for Jerry, I see. You want to show that to the people on the camera there?
Yes, look at this.
Yeah.
A nice cherry pie. It was ordered a year ago. Well, not made a year ago, but it made fresh last night. So
wow.
I have to keep these gentlemen happy here who help me out a lot with the things that I do volunteering in Rice County and Faribault. So.
Well, I tell you, you give me some jams over the years, and that's better than any payment you could make in terms of monetary for hosting the Queen Contest.
Right. I'm watching the wild raspberries right now as I go for my walks in the morning, so maybe I can make you a jar of, they're called black caps. Do you remember those as a kid?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, they make wonderful jelly. So I pick a certain amount each morning as I go, and when I get enough for a batch, I make some good jelly that my mom taught me how to make.
That's awesome. I have a great variety in my cupboard.
Oh, good.
I can have a different kind of jam or jelly every day of the week. It's awesome.
Mango, isn't that what you
That's
really like?
That's my favorite. But
I
it's
don't
hard
like
to find.
eat mangoes, but I've never had mango jelly, so I'll have to try that.
Oh, it's excellent. Now, of course, it depends on the fruit.
There's nothing like a piece of muffin toast with jelly in the morning with your coffee, right?
Well, I don't drink coffee, but...
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
But me, I like that 12-grain bread toast.
Oh.
And put some whatever jam.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of a jam I don't like.
No. Just the light. It's got to have some sugar to it. The light doesn't have enough sweetness to it.
Oh.
If you're going to have the calories, have it all.
But we're here to talk about the Rice County Fair Queen Contest, which is fast approaching. I can't believe how fast June's gone by.
That's because we didn't have a spring. Everything is sped up, We got gypped out of the spring weather that usually lets us prepare. But it's coming, and we don't have any control. But you said today's the first day of summer?
Yes, it is. And next Saturday is the deadline to enter your Fair Queen Contest.
Yes. So I've had some girls call me, and, it takes some thought to put that application together, and I'm sure they're doing that. And if some of the gals ran last year or the year before and they still fall in the same age category, 16 to 20, they sure can apply. Sometimes the second time is the charm. So it's just a wonderful thing that I enjoy doing. And you and I have been in this process for 20 years. 20 for you and 19 for me, that I got you to be MC down there. So you make it fun.
No, it is fun. We always have a lot of fun. So we look forward to that. And of course, you'd like to get some young ladies to apply, right?
Yes. We have a wonderful scholarship. That's kind of the icing on the cake. Education costs money, and with what it costs for a year at college, it's probably a very small amount, but every little bit helps. You keep putting those raindrops in a jar and it soon fills up. So we're very happy for that.
Contestants have to be 16 to 20 as of July 1st of this year, right?
Yes. And they have to...
Resident of Rice County.
Yep. They can't be married, can't have children. But one thing I've done a little bit different with... they're supposed to live in Rice County, but we live in a different age right now where sometimes they're split between parents. And if one parent lives in Rice County, maybe the other parent might live out of the county. But it's none of my business who they live with back and forth. And so if some girl was just outside the county and one of her parents is in Rice County, I really have to let them run. So.
Okay. And then if they're a member of a chapter, 4-H chapter.
Yeah.
We're going to take a market update. We'll talk more about specifics about the Fair Queen Contest. What is asked of the fair? What sort of a time commitment does the young lady have? We'll talk about that when AM Minnesota continues. Kathleen, depending on your preference, Cap, is with me this morning, and we're talking about the Fair Queen pageant, which she had noted in the first segment she took over 20 years ago.
Yes.
Or is it 21 years?
Yeah, no, 20 years ago I started to help the
exactly.
ladies.
This is your 20th anniversary.
Yeah, yes, because that's when you came on as an MC for us. I was kind of behind the scenes for a year because I had 2 daughters that ran, and I didn't want to be officially, and they said, oh no, that doesn't make any difference because other gals on the committee had daughters that ran, so but they needed some help, and I thought, oh, this is what I'd like to help do.
I do remember, the name is escaping me though, one of your former queens really went and hoofed it and got some good scholarship money.
Well, one of the gals, yes, that helped us, she got scholarships for a couple of years, and then that scholarship died out.
Right.
And we did not have it for a number of years. And then a very good friend of ours, David Gross, that lives in Faribault, David and Lynn Gross, have given first $8,400, and then he gave $25,000
wow.
towards scholarships. He believes in education. He believes in education of young ladies, to empower these young ladies, and we're very, very happy for that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. He's given a lot. People would be amazed if they knew how much money he's given right here in Faribault and Rice County. Paradise, Boy Scouts, trap shooting team, a lot of money that he's shared with people too, and mostly in youth things. So
that's nice that you can have that kind of an impact.
Yeah, had to do with a family business of his parents, and some wise decisions on a man that his father actually was in, I believe it was his father got out of Europe before the Nazis took over, so he knew what things were like over there and developed a business here, and both families have been very generous.
Hard workers. Forms available on the website.
Yes, they are, and my name is in there. If some gal needed one, she can give me a call. That's what a couple of them have done, to call, and I've steered them towards the website because it's a little easier for them to download it, but I can, if they give me their email, I can do it that way, or snail mail, any way to facilitate, to make it easier for them.
RiceCountyFair.net.
Yes.
Is there any kind of application fee?
Yes, they have to have a sponsor for $60, which helps pay for some of the costs of the Queen pageant and things that they get. And we do have, and I'll run down the list in a little bit, we have some wonderful sponsors that help out, and they've helped out, like Chappie Jewelries with the diamond pendant. That has been given since it started in 1976.
I believe it.
Has gotten a pendant, and as they said over there, as long as we're here, we'll donate. It went back and forth between them and Dandelitz. They both were very, very gracious, and when Dandelitz business retired, they said, yep, we'll do it. So we appreciate that, because they get called on, Nate and his wife and family get called on a lot of stuff, and they're very, very happy to do it. Because a lot of times when I call and talk to them, she gets a little mixed up with the Dairy Princess, so I know they help out there too. So
sure.
That's okay.
No, it's awesome. All the things that they do in the community. They help us with our medallion.
Oh, and I wanted to, that's on my bucket list to find sometime. I did go out and look, but I was down at your old studio. You never worked in the old studio, did you?
No, that's long before my time.
Yeah, well, they used to have Dick Sell had a night show at 10 o'clock for teenagers, and you could make requests, and so you'd put your little request in the mail slot right in the front, and they'd play your song and what you wanted to say, who you dedicated it to, and that was back in the early 60s, so something I remember, being a long time, forever person from Faribault.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that was back in the we're celebrating our 70th year this year.
Yes, that's exciting. 1948.
So do you think we'll ever have 70 Fair Queen contestants?
Celebrate 70 years? I think so.
You and I won't be around for that.
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
Well, it started in 76. How many years is that?
I don't know. I didn't write that down, and it's too early in the morning to figure that out.
42 years.
Yeah, so somebody else will be, maybe I'll have a granddaughter that's helping out at the fair, or a daughter would be a granddaughter.
So that would be, let's see, that would be 28 years from now. I guess it's conceivable that I could still be alive in 28 years.
Yeah, because you're 10 years younger than I am.
I'd be 88.
Okay.
Or going on 88.
We won't.
I guarantee I won't be on the air.
No.
When I'm 88, I won't be on the airwaves.
Oh boy, oh boy. I won't tell you how old I'll be.
Well, you're 10 years older than me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We don't want to talk about that.
But you could make 98.
Oh, maybe.
There are a lot of octogenarians these days.
That's very, very true.
Not octo-
And I try to keep active. I
Centenarians.
walk every day that I can, and get out 2.5 miles on each trip. Sometimes I make 3 of them uphill all the way, Gordy.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, folks, if you've got a grandkid or a kid or a great-grandkid that might be a fantastic fair queen, encourage them to run, because every girl I talk to says they've learned a lot about themselves through this process.
Absolutely, to be able to, because sometimes we'll have over 300 people that come and watch that night, and then to be able to get out and meet and greet people on the fairgrounds, whether they're young or old, and then they go around to other coronations, pageants, and they're in other parades, and they're ambassadors. We still have the old concept of queen, first, second attendant, but underneath what they really are ambassadors. We aren't ready to change that to official ambassadors, because I like the idea of queen, and I like the idea of first and second attendant. And then they also do vote on a Miss Congeniality. And then we have a couple of young little girls that come and help, and I think that brings in some more interest in coming to watch, and you do a great job with interviewing those cute little girls, and that gives them a chance to dress up pretty. And so but when we have the judging, they're judged on general appearance, ability to meet people, a desire and ability to promote the fair, and we also put with that ideas, new ideas. They're always welcome. We can't always use everything that people would like to have, but we're welcome to listen. Verbal communication and an outgoing personality. So you might not have that outgoing personality right now, but you might develop that in the process. And most of these girls that are together have a friendship that lasts a lifetime. When we've had the reunions, the girls talk about, I didn't know this gal before at all, and then they become friends because they're together all week and they plan everything that that they're going to do. So it's a fun activity, and it's a week at the fair, and we like to have them down there as much as possible. They're young, they can take those long hours.
I was just going to say, that's a long day.
Just depends upon what starts in the morning, but usually they're down there by 10 or 11. A lot of these are 4-H girls too, so they have other responsibilities down there taking care of their animals early in the morning. And then the last thing they do is our drawing at 10 o'clock at night, and then they go home, and they can go home and freshen up during the day, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. The other thing is they get a portrait from Paul Swenson. Friends and Bank and First National Bank, both of Dundas and Northfield, do tiaras, wonderful tiaras. Sashes are from Design Specialty. I had someone sew some sashes for me this year. I'm too busy to do that this year. Fair buttons, Potential Unlimited of Waterville. Our flower bouquets are from Reliance Bank, Hy-Vee, and the wrist corsages are from State Bank. We give them charms. They're from the Community Resource Bank in Northfield and First United Bank of Faribault. Parade banners, again, are from Karen's Specialties Designed. Interview is each individual sponsor. And the interview dinner host is out at Basher's. I know Jerry's gone, but his son has taken over, and he does a fabulous job out there. Educational Scholarship by David and Lynn Gross, and then we also have some other sponsors. Moose Lodge, Women of the Moose, Northfield Eagles, American Legion Morristown, Faribault and Northfield have helped us. Faribault Animal Center, Insty Prince, the Carlander family, and the Faribault American Legion Auxiliary. I mean, I hope I haven't missed anybody, but it's a long list. A star trophy's been very good to us. Some of the girls get a little trophy that they can set on their shelf and remember it by. It's so a lot of fun things.
And again, deadline is next Saturday. Next
Yes.
Saturday, June 30th, is the deadline to enter the contest.
Yes, you know, I've actually had a lot of parents that have asked about it, because usually the parents are the ones that are helping these young ladies go to school, and so they encourage their daughters, and it works well on a resume for someday that you did something, because it's really basically a volunteer thing, because they get these prizes, but other than the scholarship money, they don't get paid for what they do. So community volunteership is very, very important. I know the National Honor Society in school. I don't know if it would fall under that, but if nothing else, community volunteering gives you a good feeling.
Do they ride many parades?
They are. We ask them to do 4 parades: Jesse James, Faribault Heritage, Morristown, and the Montgomery one. Those are the ones we encourage them to do. In Lonsdale, anything that's within Rice County. And then if they choose to, they can, because they do the Medford one too, if that works out. If they choose to, they can go to other parades also. It just depends upon the ambition of how much they want to put in it.
Sure.
But we had one girl that had a whole page of a list that she went. She was a real go-getter.
There's
And some people say, "Oh, Rice County Fair? I didn't know they had a fair."
Carriage and Cutter, right next door to Kenyon there.
Yeah, you know, they do the winter ones. They do the Kenyon and Lonsdale, and I think there's one other one that they do.
Aquatennial up in Minneapolis, I know. They like having lots of queens.
Right. They've gone. They haven't participated in that, you know, as far as running or anything. I'm not real familiar with everything that's connected with that. But they do go up to that, and they're treated very well, and they enjoy it. They meet some of those people over at the Miss Morristown coronation, which I missed this year because I forgot the date, and that's
they do
always
a great job with that.
Yes, it's fun, and they do a talent over there.
Yes, I love that part.
Do you like that part?
Yeah. I think I've suggested to you over the years that'd be kind of cool to have in the Rice County Fair Queen contest, but
it's
they don't have as many girls go out either.
Right. No, because a lot of people aren't comfortable on stage. You know, we've had, in my time here, we've had as many as 18 girls run, and I think as little as 5. And throughout the history, I think it's either 2 or 3. I think it's 2 that they did not have any girls. I have no idea why. It was early in the running contest. And then there was another year that there were only 3 girls. So you knew you were going to be royalty, you just didn't know which spot.
Right. Dean Curtis, you know, the KDHL legend, started this.
Right.
Back in 1976.
Yep. He was pretty excited, and he kind of told them, this is what we want, this is what we need, and he called on a Mrs. Mulder, and it grew into Patty Raditz and Aaron Selner, who were both royalty, and they were on it.
Yeah, I worked with Doris for a number of years before.
Yeah. It's been held on the grandstand, Cannon Stage, and then it moved to the Midway. And then if it rains, we move into either the Straight River Room or the Beer Garden. The acoustics aren't the best in the Beer Garden, and it's a little brighter in the Straight River Room, but we'll make that decision that night.
It's not going to rain.
That I know, I have to think positive like that. Cause it's either you worry about the rain or the heat.
The rain getting out of the system right now, so.
Well, that's good, you know, because otherwise you don't have that problem. But for me, the makeup's running down the face because you're sweating that day.
Well, I just as soon it not be a steamy day either.
No, because that discourages the young and some of the older ones. Let's see here. They have duties. I do make a list of duties that we liked. When I first started, the girls had no idea what they were supposed to do for the week, just kind of general idea. But what I do is I list from our premium books, which just came out, I list everything that's going on, and they pick and choose where they can be, what works for them, and they hand out ribbons and 4-H, and hand out prizes for the contest. So it's they take the master copy, break it down, and you see them bopping all over, the fairgrounds. And so it's a week-long reign, and then like I said, the awards, ribbons, prizes. They judge the hog calling contest, which they really, really have fun. And that's been moved. This year we're going to have a band Friday. I think I usually squeeze it in between two bands on Friday evening at 5. And so anybody that's out there, I have one gal that's brings in a lot of people to that. And it's going to be down by the hog barn. I assume we're going to have some hogs down there. I thought maybe I wasn't saying it right, calling it hogs, but Kevin Eastrom said that's the proper terminology, is hog, not pig. So that's a fun thing. And they get to judge that. They get to come and taste, like when they have the chocolate contest. They don't judge that, but they get to have a taste. They usher down the Volunteer of the Year when you're there to announce the Senior Volunteer of the Year. So they're part of that. They vote on Miss Congeniality when they do have the interviews. And when they have the interviews down at the fair, and that is the 10th of July, that's in our boardroom. It's casual dress for that. If they were going to go out for an interview for a job or something, that's what they have to think about, how they would dress for that. And then, of course, the evening of the coronation, they are always excited about dressing in a formal dress. And some of them wear their prom dresses. They get to wear those $500 prom dresses again. So as somebody knew, so that's fun for them. And their sponsors are asked if they can usher them up. That's something new that I instigated years ago, because I thought it was a good thing for the sponsors to be acknowledged. And if they can't, a parent or somebody else can do it, and it makes it a little more comfortable for the girls, and they like being walked up that aisle, so you can read the bio about them, and instead of just being up on stage 1, 2, 3. The girls put a lot of effort and expense into what they do that evening, and we need to make it a little bit more for them, to make it worthwhile for everything. So I don't like a flash in the pan, and that's why we ask them each a question, and then you interview them a little bit, because then the audience gets to know what the judges saw in those girls.
Yeah, they find out how quick they are in their feet.
Right. One girl, one year, she pulled up the bottom of her dress and she had her cowboy boots underneath. I mean, what a cute idea. And I think sometimes your response to some of the questions is pretty genuine. There's one girl that did some kind of a dance called the Lawnmower Dance. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was very funny. I had no idea. And I always tell them, I said, whatever you do it, be tasteful up there. And they have fun with that. So I just love that part of it. So
that's what it should be all about.
Yes. If you're not having fun, then it's not good. That's not good. So let's see, what else can I tell you about this?
Now, you had a reunion a couple of years ago, right?
Yes. And we had a really, really
great turnout.
Very, very good they're happy to come back, and we do both the queen and the attendants. And the first gal, and I should have written her name down because I've got too much going on in my head right now. She is a hoot. You can see exactly why she was chosen.
Oh, sure.
First queen. And every year she's come back for a reunion. She's made her dress, just like she made her dress the night of coronation. She was putting the last stitches, and then it poured. It was supposed to be at the grandstand, but it rained, so it was kind of underneath that old grandstand.
Yeah.
And she said the sheriff had to turn his lights on in his car to shine on him, and it just rained buckets. But she never says anything negative. She said it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience for her. So made a new friend and a young lady that was our first queen. So that's great. I think there was only 1 or 2 we couldn't find out of the different ones. So
that was the 40-year reunion when you did this, 2016.
Yeah. I've been asked why I do this, and because it does take a lot of work, and sometimes you bump heads, and everybody thinks it's an easy job. It's if you want something to be nice, it does take the extra work. I strive on perfection. I like to be prepared with my notes and everything, and try to do everything positive. I always do. I always like to be upbeat. But I just feel God gives us talent to use. We need to find the right time and place to use them, and I find this has been a very rewarding experience. I've learned a lot from doing this and serving on the Fair Board for over 18 years, almost 20 now. And now as the board president, I'm in my second year. It's a 2-year stint, and maybe it's getting kind of old for some people that hear it, but I do think it's very rewarding and interesting that I'm the first woman in the history, and we're celebrating 145 years, that I am the board president. Does it carry a lot of responsibility? No, but you are the person that people look at to ask questions about the fair. And I think Faribault's very lucky to have the fair in Faribault, because there's that thing about it going back and forth between Faribault and Northfield, and nobody was around at that time, and they had a lot of fairs, and fairs had a different concept, and so we don't know if that was the real Rice County Fair or what, but it's an important thing. And then eventually I'm 68 this year, so eventually I'll get tired of this and maybe find other things to do and just be home with my wonderful husband, and bake pies for the guys at KDHL.
Yeah, well, let's hope that.
But I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep at it as while it's fun for me. I'm going to keep at it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs something to give. Gordy, what would happen if everybody volunteered to do something? Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah, I've plumb run out of time. Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah.
Or
goes too fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, thank you. I always appreciate it.
You bet. That's today's edition of AM Minnesota on KDHL AM in Faribault, Minnesota.